before the world lays a single finger on you, before the news, the noise, and the needs of others flood your senses, there is a moment, a sliver of silence, a breath of stillness, and in that sacred space, your life is decided, not in the rush, not in the reaction, but in the response you choose before the world sees you. The morning is not a time. It is a battlefield. It is the place where the war between your potential and your past is fought. And most people, they wake up already defeated. They reach for their phone, not their purpose. They scroll, not soar. They consume, not create. They react instead of rise. They walk into the day dressed in yesterday's confusion, dragging behind them the weight of unmet expectations and forgotten dreams. But not you. Not if you choose differently. Not if you own your morning. Because to own your morning is to make the most powerful declaration a person can make. I am not owned by this world, I command it. Let's be clear. Every empire ever built began with a morning ritual. Carnegie's began with reflection, Edison's with silence, Disney's with vision, Lincoln's with prayer and solitude. What do they all have in common? They didn't wait for the world to hand them momentum. They generated it. Your life is not shaped in the hours of chaos. Your destiny is not decided in traffic or meetings. It is forged in the hour before anyone can take it from you. That hour, that first breath of the day, is your most powerful weapon. Because it is when your mind is open, impressionable, programmable, vulnerable to greatness or garbage. And the truth is this: you don't rise to your goals, you fall to your routines. So I ask you, when you wake up, what do you fall into? Because if it's confusion, fear, or distraction, that is not morning, that is surrender. But when you rise into clarity, when your feet hit the floor with intention, when you speak your goals aloud before the sun finishes rising, that is dominion, that is leadership, that is conquest. Most people hit snooze and shrink, but the few, they wake up and sharpen. Because those who conquer their mornings, conquer their destiny. Think of your morning like the ignition key to a rocket. If you start it with doubt, hesitation, or disarray, the entire mission drifts. But if you start with clarity, power, and resolve, you leave gravity behind. Your energy is not just a mood, it is a statement. And every morning is your opportunity to announce it. Write your thoughts, not later, now. Write your vision, not when it's perfect, but when it's raw. Move your body, not because it's easy, but because it reminds you that you are alive. You were not born to be a pawn. You were born to be a commander. But you cannot lead the world until you learn to lead yourself. And that begins at dawn. Let me ask you something. Do you think greatness arrives with a calendar invite? Do you think wealth comes knocking with a notification? Do you believe the man or woman you are meant to become will wait patiently while you procrastinate your power? No, because success does not chase the sleeping. It kneels before the disciplined. And if you're still hoping motivation will come to rescue you, let me wake you up again. Motivation is not the beginning. Action is. Motivation is the echo of movement. It is the flame that comes after the spark. That's why your first action of the day matters more than the 100 that follow. Because it is not just about what you do. It is about who you are becoming while you do it. When you do the hard thing first, the cold shower, the silent reflection, the 5 pages written before breakfast, you build a reputation with yourself. You teach your mind. I show up, I finish, I win. And when the world sees a person like that, they do not question. They follow. Because certainty is rare. Conviction is magnetic. This is not about waking up earlier. This is about waking up stronger. You do not need a 5 a.m. club to become a lion. You need intentionality. You need to stop giving your power away to randomness and start taking it back with rhythm. When you wake up and command your environment, you tell the day, this space is mine, this energy is mine, This direction is mine. You don't open your mind to the world before you've filled it with vision. You don't allow the news to speak louder than your truth. You don't allow noise to replace purpose. This world is filled with people who look awake, but they are still dreaming with their eyes open, still reacting, still hoping, still blaming. But hope without habit is nothing but fantasy. If you want a different future, then change the first 60 minutes of your day, because that is where the future begins. That is where belief is born. That is where your identity is sculpted, in silence, in sweat, in repetition. You were not made to drift. You were made to drive. You were made to sit in the captain's chair of your life and chart a course no one else can see. And the compass for that journey, it's built in the morning. It is built in decision, in discipline, in declarations that say, "This is who I am. This is what I will do. This is how I will win." Say it out loud. Write it down. Move in alignment with it. You will not always feel like it, but that's the point. That's why it's powerful. The act of doing what you do not want to do at the hour no one else is watching. That is how champions are made. That is how legends are born. That is how your name is carved into the stone of history. Not because you were gifted, but because you were willing. Willing to rise, willing to command, willing to own what others gave away. Do you understand what it means to set the tone? It means you become the tuning fork of your own life. When you strike the right chord in the morning, your entire day resonates with that vibration. If you rise in hesitation, your day echoes uncertainty. If you rise in power, your day follows in momentum. This is not philosophy. This is physics. Energy compounds. Momentum multiplies. And so does mediocrity if you let it. Most people don't fail because they aren't talented. They fail because they repeat small acts of neglect that seem harmless in the moment, but become fatal in the long run. Neglecting the morning is the first domino. That's why it's not just about waking up early. It's about waking up with authority. When you open your eyes, you either step into purpose or you slide into passivity. There is no neutral. There is no in-between. There is no just this once. Each day, you vote for the life you are building by how you begin it. Picture a craftsman shaping steel. He knows the most critical moment is when the metal is softest, most malleable, right after it leaves the fire. That's your mind in the morning. Fresh from the fires of sleep, it is impressionable. It is pliable. And you are either forging a sword of focus or leaving it to rust in distraction. Henry Ford once said, "Whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right." But here's the deeper truth. The first thoughts of the day decide which one you believe. You cannot expect to live a powerful life if you begin your day in weakness. You cannot demand victory from life if you start the day in defeat. Victory is not a moment. It's not the closing bell or the standing ovation. Victory is decided in the invisible hours when no one is watching. It is decided when you choose to lead yourself before the world gets a chance to lead you. You must become intentional with your inputs. What do you feed your mind before the world feeds you chaos? What do you allow into your mental operating system before you've programmed it for power? Because here's the truth most ignore. The first thoughts you entertain in the morning become the blueprint of your day. If you begin in fear, you build in fear. If you begin in gratitude, you build in abundance. If you begin in purpose, you construct progress. The mind is a field, and every morning you plant seeds. Most people scatter weeds and wonder why their life feels tangled and directionless. But you must cultivate the crops of clarity, confidence, and conviction, daily, relentlessly, without excuse. Write your goals. Don't just think them. Write them. Ink turns ideas into reality. Napoleon Hill taught us this. Definiteness of purpose is the starting point of all achievement. But purpose is not something you stumble upon by accident. Purpose is crafted, carved, hammered into place by daily repetition. That repetition begins in the first 10 minutes of your day. Let me be clear. This is not self-help. This is self-command. This is not about positive thinking. This is about power thinking, the kind that bends reality toward your will because you refuse to let smallness rule your mind. Thomas Edison did not invent the light bulb by accident. He built it morning by morning, failure by failure, idea by idea, until the darkness surrendered to persistence. Do you think he woke up casually? Do you think he rolled out of bed and waited for inspiration? No. He conditioned his mind. He forced himself to see possibility in failure, to see discovery in darkness. And you must do the same. Your morning is the laboratory of your legacy. It's where you experiment with thought, refine belief, and sharpen your will. When the rest of the world starts reacting, you're already moving with direction. When they complain about overwhelm, you've already chosen your one great task for the day and begun it. When they are still looking for motivation, you've already generated it through movement. Movement is a mirror. When you move your body in the morning, you tell your mind, I am in motion. I am alive. I am unstoppable. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be pretty. It just has to be done. Understand this. Your physiology writes your psychology. Slumped shoulders tell your brain, we are small, we are tired, we are powerless. Standing tall tells your brain, we are ready, we are capable, we are in command. Breathing shallowly tells your nervous system panic. Breathing deeply tells your system peace, power, presence. These are not coincidences. They are commands. You are not just a mind. You are not just a body. You are an ecosystem. And your morning routine is the thermostat for that system. If you set it high in courage and discipline, your whole day runs at that temperature. If you set it low in anxiety and reaction, everything else follows suit. So, I ask you again, who are you when no one is watching? Because that's the person who decides your destiny. The world sees the outcomes, but you know the origins, and the origin of greatness is not a grand event. It is a quiet commitment made every morning when you choose to act like the person you are becoming. This is about identity, not habits, not hacks, not tricks, identity. Every morning you rehearse who you are. Are you rehearsing weakness or strength? Are you rehearsing chaos or clarity? Are you practicing defeat or destiny? Abraham Lincoln wrote speeches long before anyone asked him to. Walt Disney sketched worlds that did not yet exist. Edison worked on failures no one else believed in, because he had decided who he was before success arrived. You must do the same. Don't wait for results to give you confidence. Give yourself confidence by acting in alignment with your vision, before the world agrees. That is leadership. That is legacy. That is owning your morning to conquer your destiny. Most people don't understand the cost of a casual morning. They think, it's just one day. But it's never just one day. It's the start of a pattern. And patterns are more powerful than plans, because patterns shape identity. You are not what you occasionally do. You are what you do consistently, especially when no one is watching. Let me tell you the real secret. Success is not about hustle. It's not about grinding yourself into the ground. It's about alignment. When your actions match your vision, when your mornings match your mission, when your daily choices match your deepest purpose, you become unshakable. You stop chasing life, and life starts flowing through you. That's why the first hour of your day is so crucial. It's not just the beginning of the day. It's the birthplace of belief. Most people let the outside world set their inner tone. They wake up and check their phone. They let notifications dictate their mood. They let headlines write their emotions. They let other people's priorities hijack their mind. And before they've had their first cup of coffee, they've already lost the battle for their own life. They've surrendered the steering wheel to someone else. But the people who change the world, they don't do that. They wake up and remind themselves, I am the captain. I set the tone. I decide the course. When you own your morning, you create a buffer between you and the world. You build a wall of focus, a fortress of clarity, a shield of certainty, so that when life throws distractions, you don't get pulled off track. You don't react to life. You direct it. That is the difference between average and extraordinary. Think of a sculptor staring at a block of marble. That block is your day. It's raw, it's unformed, it's neutral, and most people pick up the hammer and chisel at noon, when the distractions have already hit, when the mind is cluttered, when the urgency of other people's agendas has already carved into their day. But not you. You begin sculpting the moment you wake. You decide the shape. You carve the lines. You remove what does not belong. Do you know why that matters? Because life is not something you find, it's something you build. And if you don't build your life, someone else will hire you to build theirs. That's the truth no one likes to say out loud. But the greats understood it. Carnegie built industries before most people opened their eyes. Ford designed engines in his mind before he put them into machines. Disney imagined entire worlds before the first drawing appeared on paper. They weren't lucky. They were disciplined dreamers. They knew that vision without discipline is just fantasy. But discipline without vision, that's misery. So you need both. And you build both in the morning. This is where clarity comes in. Every morning, you must ask yourself, what matters most today? Not a to-do list of trivial tasks. One thing, the right thing, the thing that moves the needle. Because success is not about doing everything. It's about doing what matters most consistently until the world cannot ignore you. Most people confuse movement with progress. They run in circles, they answer emails, they check social media, they attend meetings, they confuse busyness for productivity. But busyness is the enemy of greatness. Greatness comes from focused effort on things that matter. And the morning is where you choose that focus. When the world is still quiet, when your mind is still clean, when you can hear the voice of your own vision before the world tries to drown it out. You must decide, are you going to be a participant in life or a producer of it? Are you going to let the world tell you what's urgent, or are you going to tell the world what's important? That decision happens before breakfast. Think of the great minds throughout history. Marcus Aurelius wrote meditations to himself before dawn, not for fame, but to guide his own mind. Edison wrote in notebooks before the sun rose, not because anyone asked him to, but because he understood the compound interest of clarity. You must do the same, not because someone is watching, not because it looks good on social media, but because your destiny is too important to leave to chance. Let's talk about resilience, because life is not going to cooperate with you all the time. You will get knocked down. You will face failure. You will have days when nothing goes according to plan. But when you own your morning, you build an inner anchor that keeps you steady in the storm. You remind yourself, I am not controlled by the chaos. I am defined by my response to it. That's how you become resilient, not by hoping life gets easier, but by getting stronger. And strength is built in repetition. Strength is built in discipline. Strength is built in the hours no one sees. That's why the first commitment of your day is not to the world. It's to yourself. It's the promise you make to your own reflection. I will not betray my vision today. I will not drift. I will not delay. I will not apologize for wanting more. I will build the life I came here to build. This is not motivation. This is identity transformation. When you repeat this process day after day, it becomes who you are. You are no longer the person who sleeps through opportunity. You are the person who greets opportunity before it knocks. You don't wait for the world to hand you success. You rise and take it before the rest of the world even wakes up. Every morning is a rehearsal for your future. You don't practice perfection. You practice power. You practice showing up, regardless of mood. You practice choosing discipline, regardless of comfort. You practice deciding who you are before the world decides for you. That is how you own your morning. That is how you conquer your destiny. There is a reason the world belongs to the few who rise while others sleep, the few who act while others hesitate, the few who practice deliberate becoming, while the rest practice accidental existing. It's not because they're smarter. It's not because they're luckier. It's because they've learned to master the first battle of the day, the battle between will and weakness, That battle is not fought at noon. It's not fought in the gym or the office or the boardroom. It's fought in the quiet of the morning, when the mind is still soft, when the body wants comfort, when the world has not yet demanded anything from you. But your future is demanding everything. You have a choice. Right now. And every morning after this one. The choice to rise into your highest potential or to retreat into the familiar mediocrity of yesterday. But you cannot have both. You cannot claim greatness and cling to comfort. You cannot demand success and delay discipline. You cannot pray for a better life and then waste the first hour of your day. This is the moment where separation happens. This is where the 1% get forged, not in genetics, not in circumstance, but in rituals repeated relentlessly until the world bends in their favor. The secret is not the result. It's the pattern that produces it. And here's something most people don't realize. When you own your morning, you don't just change the day, you change who you are. You stop being the person who waits for conditions to be perfect. You stop being the person who lets fear choose for you. You stop being the person who talks about change but lives in repetition. You become the person who moves first, speaks vision first, believes first, and acts before belief is fully formed. You act into belief. Because confidence is not something you have, it's something you build. It's not a feeling. It's a consequence of keeping promises to yourself when it would have been easier to break them. So the question is not, will this work for me? The question is, am I willing to become the person it will work for? Think of this like a forge. Every morning you step into the fire, and you have the chance to melt away weakness, burn off excuses, and shape steel from your soul. But if you skip the fire, if you hide from the heat, you stay brittle. You stay breakable. Life will test you. Business will test you. Relationships will test you. Circumstances will test you. And in those moments, you won't rise to the level of your dreams. You will fall to the level of your training. The morning is your training ground. That is where you build the muscle of mental toughness, emotional resilience, and spiritual clarity. That is where you meet your future self, not as a fantasy, but as a blueprint you are actively constructing. You might say, but what if I don't feel like it? That's the point. Discipline is not about feeling like it. Discipline is about doing it until you can't imagine life without it. It's about proving to yourself day after day that your will is stronger than your weakness. That is how you move from being a prisoner of your moods to being a master of your moments. The world loves to celebrate the outcomes, the medals, the millions, the accolades, the applause. But those are just side effects. The real reward is who you become in the process. The real victory is when you wake up one day and realize, I am no longer the person who hesitates. I am no longer the person who talks about it, but never starts. I am no longer the person who lets life happen to me. I happen to life. That transformation starts when the sun is still low, when the air is still cool, when the world is still asleep. That transformation starts before the world sees you, when only you can see yourself. It's not about perfection. It's about consistency. Small wins, repeated relentlessly, become unstoppable momentum. One morning becomes 7. 7 becomes 30. 30 becomes a lifetime. And a lifetime of owning your morning becomes a legacy that outlives you. People will ask, how did you do it? How did you stay focused? How did you build this life? And you'll smile because you'll know the truth. It wasn't magic. It wasn't luck. It was that first hour of every day. It was the decision to lead yourself before you led anyone else. It was the decision to command your mornings, so your destiny had no choice but to follow. Let this be your moment. The moment you stop negotiating with procrastination. The moment you stop explaining away your potential. The moment you stop treating your life like a rehearsal and start treating it like the main event. Because it is. This is not practice. This is the one shot you get, the one life you hold, the one chance you have to write a story worth remembering. And that story begins not in the grand moments of glory, but in the small moments of discipline and decision no one sees. So tomorrow morning, when the alarm goes off, remember this. You are not just waking up. You are waking up your destiny. You are stepping into the arena before the world arrives. You are commanding your mind before chaos can claim it. You are claiming victory over the one thing most people will never master, themselves. And when you do that, consistently, relentlessly, without apology, the world bends to meet you at the level of your standard. Own your morning, conquer your destiny, and never look back.